Single dad saves crying woman at gas station. She surprises him with a mansion at midnight. The gas station stood like a lone sentinel on that lonely highway, bathed in the harsh glare of flickering neon lights. It was an ordinary night until an extraordinary scene unfolded. Jake, a single dad working the late shift, was just flipping through his phone when he heard a choked sob breaking through the monotonous hum of the gas pumps. Turning his head, he saw her. A woman, drenched in rain, eyes wide with fear, and surrounded by a swirling curtain of shadows. The sight struck him like a lightning bolt. She was trembling. Her makeup, once perfect, now ran down her cheeks like dark tears. Jake's heart raced. Typical of his day-to-day life, he was just trying to make ends meet, raising his little girl on his own. But this was different. This woman needed saving. He hurried out into the night, each step heavy with urgency, a tight knot forming in his stomach. "What's wrong?" he asked, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. As she looked up, her lips trembled like leaves blowing in a storm. "They're coming for me," she whispered, glancing around as if the shadows themselves were watching. Jake's chest tightened. Who was coming? Was it some thug from a movie? His instincts kicked in, his fatherly nature overriding his fear. He reached for her arm, pulling her behind the safety of the gas station. Just then, the world exploded. Bright lights blinded him from just beyond the darkness, and shout echoed through the air like thunderclaps. The woman let out a small gasp, her hands wrapping around Jake's wrist. "You have to help me. Please." There was something electric about her desperation. It pulled at Jake's very soul, a mysterious force binding them together. Just as the danger seemed to flare up more, silence fell. The thuds of footsteps faded into the distance. Confusion clouded Jake's mind. What had just happened? Was he really ready to risk everything? He could carry this burden, but at what cost? Before he could drown in his thoughts, the woman turned serious, her eyes glimmering with a strange light. "If you help me, I swear I'll show you a whole new world. A mansion, all yours." Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. In that moment, Jake felt the weight of the night lifting. The promise of something greater hung in the air. But what did it mean? Was this some kind of trick or a last gasp of hope? Instinct warred with desire in Jake's gut. As the rain slowed to a light patter, he stared into her pleading gaze, caught in a whirlwind of possibilities. Deep down, he sensed this was just the beginning, a twist of fate that could change everything. What lay ahead? One thing was crystal clear: he had no more. Where would this journey take him? And what kind of mansion awaited them? The weight of her words hung heavy in the air, like the last echoes of a thunderclap fading into a tense silence. Jake felt the rush of adrenaline still coursing through his veins. He took a breath, staring into her frightened eyes. "What do you mean, a mansion?" She swallowed hard, hesitating, vulnerability etched on her wet face. "It's not just any mansion, Jake. It's a sanctuary, mine, and it could be yours too," she stammered, desperation pulsating in her voice. "But you have to trust me. You have to help me get there before it's too late." As if on cue, distant headlights swept across the gas station's lot. The shadows around them seemed to swell, closing in like dark fingers. Jake's heart raced again. "What is going on? Who's coming after you?" "I can't explain everything now," she cried, her voice rising in urgency. "Just know that if they find me—" Her sentence was cut short by another roar of an engine, and Jake felt the ground beneath him tremble with dread. "Okay, I'll help you," he replied, his own voice surprising him with its steadiness. "But we need a plan. We can't just stand here." She nodded, her expression a mix of relief and fear. "The car, the LL, look for my car first. We need to go now. Hurry." Without thinking, he grabbed her hand. His instincts kicked in again, merging the protective father within him with that unfamiliar urgency. They dashed around the gas station, slipping into the night like whispers. As they hid behind the rusted dumpster, Jake's mind raced. He had to keep her safe, yet every instinct warned him that this path was perilous. The sound of shuffling feet echoed in the distance, making the air feel thick and suffocating. "What is your name?" Jake found himself asking, needing some familiarity in the chaos. "Lily," she whispered, casting a nervous glance over his shoulder. "And I promise I won't let you down." "All right, Lily. We need to find a way to lose them," he decided, tightening his grip on her hand. "Look, there's my car by the pumps." A flicker of hope ignited within him. "Can we make it?" she asked, her eyes wide and fearful. "It's our only chance," he said, summoning the courage that had gotten him through sleepless nights and long shifts. They dashed across the open lot, hearts pounding. But just as they reached the getaway car, the darkness shattered with the voice of a man behind them. "Lily, there you are." Jake's stomach dropped. The man was tall, looming like a shadow, his face twisted into a cruel smile. The air crackled as tension snagged them in place. "Get in, now," Jake shouted, pushing Lily into the passenger seat, even as panic gripped him by the throat. Just as he slid into the driver's seat, the man lunged toward them. Jake's heart raced as he turned the key in the ignition, but all he could hear was the heavy thud of feet approaching, each step echoing like a drum roll to disaster. "Go, go, go!" Lily screamed as adrenaline spiked through Jake. He pressed down on the accelerator. Tires screeched, and the vehicle jolted forward. But even as they sped into the dark night, that cruel smile followed them in the rearview mirror, promising danger and weaving a web of uncertainty. "What was that all about?" Jake demanded, stealing glances at Lily, who looked just as frightened as he felt. "I'll explain everything," she promised, but the quiver in her voice told another story. Did she really have a mansion waiting for him? Or was this all a ploy, a fateful trap? As they tore down the highway, his heart hammered against the side of his chest. But with every mile, an unsettling thought clawed at him. What if escaping was only the beginning? And somewhere in the darkness behind them, an engine roared back to life. The roar of the engine behind them was like the growl of a beast awakened. Jake's grip on the steering wheel tightened, knuckles whitening as the headlights danced in the rearview mirror. Panic flared within him. "They're coming after us, Lily." "I know," she shouted, her voice a sharp slice through the car's tense atmosphere. "We need to lose them. Take a right at the next intersection." Jake's heart raced. "Are you sure? We can end up just do it," she insisted, desperation igniting her words. He swerved sharply, tires screeching in protest against asphalt, smelling burning rubber as he turned onto a dark, deserted back road. The headlights behind them grew dimmer, but not gone. They were still hunting him. Lily glanced at him, urgency morphing into something darker. "They want to stop, Jake. They want to until they find me. You need to understand that this isn't just some random chase. They're dangerous, very dangerous." "Why?" he pressed, feeling his heartbeat thud hard against his chest. "What did you do? Who are they?" Lily stared ahead, her eyes near to glassy, lost in the memories now racing to the surface. "They're my family, well, not my family anymore. I was supposed to inherit something of fortune, a mansion, but they want it all for themselves. Once they found out I was leaving, they wouldn't let it go." "Leaving? Leaving what? You can't just throw a bomb like that and expect me to follow. It's complicated, Jake. Please, just trust me." Her voice cracked, and in that moment he caught a glimpse of the tortured soul behind her bravado. The road twisted ahead, branches creeping at the edges as though trying to drag them back to whatever fate awaited. Outside, the night air swept past like a dark curtain, thick with apprehension. "Tell me what I need to know," he urged, forcing his mind to settle. Each second counted, but the weight of her words added gravity to their flight. "They'll come after us harder if they realize we're escaping," she confessed, her breath shaky. "If we can just get to the mansion, we'll be safe. It has secrets they don't want uncovered." It's south the last place they'd think to look for me. The mansion. Jake's mind whirled. What kind of sanctuary was this? And what kind of secrets? How do you know they want to find us there? How do I know you're not leading me into a trap? I don't have all the answers. There's a hidden room. A safe spot. I promise you'll understand when you see it. A surge of doubt coursed through him, battling against the sense of chivalry that compelled him to protect her. And if they catch us, then we fight. Her words were fierce, a spark in the darkness. Fight. The idea felt heavy and absurd. He was just a guy working 9 to 5, trying to make ends meet. Yet, here he was thrust into a world of shadows and million-dollar stakes. Jake's mind raced while they careened through the night. The engine's roar was relentless, but he barely heard it against the thunder of his own pulse. Suddenly, Lily gasped, pointing at a faint glow up ahead. That's south at the road, to the mansion, just a little further. But they might be close behind. He pressed down on the accelerator, intent on reaching the glow before it was snatched away. Please, Jake. Lily's voice was frantic now, anxiety twisting her features. You have to believe me. My entire life depends on us getting there. Yet just as they rounded the bend, a shadow crossed the path, a figure stepping from the underbrush, obstructing their way. Jake slammed the brakes, the tires skidding to a halt inches away from a hooded figure who seemed to materialize from the darkness, blocking their path to salvation. What the hell? Jake breathed, panic flooding his chest. Get out of the car, the man ordered, voice cold and menacing, echoing like thunderclaps between them. Jake Lily whispered, their hopes of escape hanging in limbo before this looming threat. Was there no sanctuary after all? The cruel smile from before crept back to haunt him, all while the darkness whispered of dangers yet to come. But the mansion promised answers, and perhaps even safety. Or was it yet another mirage in the vast desert of uncertainty? Now or never, he thought, adrenaline surging through him again as the looming man stepped forward. What choice did he have as the night closed in around them? The hooded man moved closer, the moonlight revealing a glint of steel in his hand. Jake's pulse quickened, panic igniting his brain. What was this guy playing at? He could feel Lily's presence beside him, taut and trembling. Get out, the man commanded again, more forceful this time, each word landing like bricks between them. Jake Lily murmured, edging away slightly. Her fingers gripped the door handle, anxiety radiating off her. Stay put, he snapped, every muscle in his body tensing. He stole a glance in the rearview mirror. The headlights of their pursuers grew flickering in the distance. They were getting closer. If you know what's good for you, the hooded man continued, stepping into the weak beam of headlights, you'll come quietly. No one needs to be hurt tonight. There is something seriously wrong with you. Jake spat, adrenaline fueling a sudden rush of courage. You don't scare me. Lily shot him a frantic look, the slightest hint of fear clouding her face. She knew they were outmatched. He could see it in the way her breath hitched. Behind the hooded figure, branches rustled ominously. Jake could almost feel the weight of lurking eyes, shadows painting the woods with unspoken threats. Panic whispered to flee, but he couldn't abandon Lily. What do you really want? Jake challenged, his voice steady despite the terror pooling in his stomach. The man tilted his head, as if amused by the question. Your girl, he said, voice dripping with menace. And her little secrets. She belongs with us now. Lily squeezed her eyes shut as if she could shut out the world, as Jake's heart sank. I'm not going anywhere with you, she shot back, voice trembling but defiant. You've never cared about me. You're just after the money. You wouldn't hurt me, would you? Enough. The hooded man's voice boomed, echoing in the stillness. He lunged for the door, and in an instant, Jake slammed it shut, locking it. Go. Take the wheel. Jake ordered Lily, adrenaline darting through every fiber of his being. The urgency sliced through the tension. He was done playing defensively. What? No. You can't. Now. He bellowed, jumping from the car just as the man smashed his fist against the window. The glass rattled, but it held. Jake launched himself at the hooded figure, driven by desperation. They collided, rolling onto the gravel. Jake's mind was a frenzy of survival instincts, fists raining down, grappling for control. The man was strong, but Jake fought with everything he had, fueled by the need to protect Lily. From the car came the sound of tires squealing, then the roar of the engine as Lily stomped the gas. The rear tires kicked up dust and gravel, and Jake's eyes widened. She was leaving. He struggled from beneath the man, and in that split second, he locked eyes with Lily, able to see the chaos and fear swirl behind her gaze. "Don't leave me," he shouted, but the sound was drowned by the screech of tires as she sped away. In that moment, all his resolve shattered. Fight or flight, he had chosen the wrong battle. The hooded man used the distraction and bucked Jake off, tossing him aside like a rag doll. As Jake tumbled backward, his vision blurred, but one thing was clear: Lily was gone, and danger loomed closer. He was left with a thin slice of hope, a fragile thread connecting him to salvation. "Don't worry, lovely," the hooded man sneered, brushing the dust off his clothes. "I'll make sure she comes back to you one way or another." What had he gotten into? As shadows crept in from all sides, Jake felt the urgent need to act. But would he find Lily in time? Or had he already lost her forever? The forest loomed ominously, and each heartbeat echoed the urgency of the chase he had just begun. Would the darkness swallow him whole, or could he still claw back to light? He took a deep breath. The cold air filled his lungs as he steeled himself for the fight ahead. The night was far from over, and a deeper game was at play, a game where lives hung in the balance, and secrets would soon be laid bare. Would he uncover the truth that might save her? Or was he already too late? Jake pushed himself off the ground, the gravel biting into his palms as he scrambled to his feet. Panic surged through him, but beneath that wave, a simmering anger ignited. He couldn't just stand there. He had to follow. He had to keep Lily safe. The night felt suffocating, shadows stretching and curling around the ancient trees like claws reaching for him. He barely registered the pain pulsing through his body as he sprinted down the narrow dirt path, branches slapping against his arms, tugging at his clothes. But what if she didn't wait for him? What if he couldn't catch up? His heart hammered in his chest, each beat a reminder of how delicate this moment was. Somewhere ahead, he knew she was being pulled into a darkness that he couldn't reach. "Lily," he shouted, voice cracking, swallowed by the enveloping silence of the forest. He heard nothing in return. Breathless, he rounded a bend and his instincts kicked in. The headlights of the car they just escaped flashed through the trees, blinding him momentarily. The sound of tires crunching over the gravel made his heart pound harder. He was close. He had to be close. The hooded man couldn't be far behind her. He picked up his pace, the fear driving him deeper into survival mode. He stumbled upon a clearing, the silver light of the moon illuminating the scene like a twisted theatrical stage. There was Lily's truck, engine still warm and throaty rumble lingering in the air. But where was she? He scanned the dark edges of the trees, each shadow heavy with possibility and dread. Then he saw it, a flicker of movement, a weak moan that sent chills racing down his spine. Without hesitating, he rushed towards the sound, and then he froze. In the pale light, he saw her, a figure cloaked in shadows, struggling against the grip of the hooded man. The flick knife glimmered again, catching the moonlight as it hovered perilously close to Lily's neck. "Stop!" Jake shouted, voice raw and fierce. He didn't think. He lunged forward, fueled by desperation, and tackled the man to the ground, sending them both crashing through the underbrush. The two men grappled, limbs entwined in a chaotic dance of fury and fear. The hooded man sought to reach his weapon, but Jake was quicker, pressing his weight down, pinning him beneath. "Get away from her!" Jake gritted through clenched teeth. Lily's voice, strained yet defiant, rose above the chaos. "Jake, please, just go. You need to run." The hooded man laughed, as if it was a game. "Look at her. She can't save you now. She is not who you think she is." That hit harder than any blow. Jake hesitated, fear mixing with confusion. "What do you mean?" Secrets run deeper than this little game of yours. She's a part of something much bigger, the man sneered. And you're just a pawn. Jake's stomach twisted. He couldn't allow doubt to creep in. You lie. He pressed harder, feeling his face flush with determination. You're just trying to tear us apart. But the hooded man chuckled darkly. Jake glanced over at Lily, whose eyes were wide with horror, and a sick realization crept in. What if there was truth to those words? Suddenly, the man's strength surged. He bucked upward, flipping the tables and sending Jake sprawling to the side. Before Jake could reposition, the hooded man surged back, rushing toward Lily just as she recoiled. But it was too late. He grabbed her, yanking her toward the trees. No! Jake screamed, scrambling to get on his feet. Lily kicked and twisted, but he was too strong. Jake pushed himself up and ran, sprinting like a madman, every ounce of adrenaline propelling him forward. Jake, help! Her voice was a desperate wail. He could see them now, shadows blending with the night, leaving the clearing and heading into the darker woods. He raced after them, branches ripping at his clothes, fear and resolve battling inside him. He couldn't let her go. Not now. Not ever. Then he spotted a flash of something in the underbrush. A fragment of light, a chance. He dove toward it, urgency driving him to find whatever weapon he could to save her. What awaited him in the depths of the dark? Would he reach her in time, or was it already too late? A heartbeat later, Jake found a rusted pipe, jagged and heavy. He lifted it instinctively, feeling its weight settle in his grip, a raw surge of defiance running through his bloodstream. This was no longer just a chase. It was a desperate battle. The night swallowed all sounds except his own frantic breathing and the soft rustle of the trees. He sprinted forward, the pipe a lifeline, racing to where he saw them disappear into the deeper woods. Each step felt like a thunderclap in the stillness, an echo of his determination to save Lily. Twisting between the towering trunks, he pushed through the underbrush, heart pounding. Lily! He called out again, voice harsh, desperate. A muffled cry responded, cutting through the dark like a knife. Panic surged anew. He could hear the trunk of her truck, abandoned and still warm behind him, but now it felt a world away. He focusing on the sounds of struggle ahead. It was only a few more steps that, he broke into another small clearing. He stopped in his tracks. There, in the pale moonlight, was Lily. She was tangled in the hooded man's arms, flailing, her face a mask of terror. The glimmer of the flick knife flashed ominously as he brandished it dangerously. Let her go, Jake shouted, raising the pipe like a sword, hoping to intimidate. Anger coursed through him, mingling with fear. The hooded man turned slowly, a smile creeping across his face, the blade pointed at Lily's throat. You think that it's going to save her? You're too late, boy. The game has only just begun. Everything inside, Jake screamed to charge forward, but self-preservation held him back. Just let her go. Whatever she's a part of, I'll handle it with you. Just don't hurt her. Lily's eyes locked onto his, pleading, filled with a mix of fear and something else knowledge. Jake, you don't understand. You need to run. Shut up. The hooded man barked, yanking her closer before turning his attention back to Jake. She's more valuable than you know. This is what you get for playing in shoes that don't fit. Jake's face blanched. What did he mean by that? Doubt crept into his mind, but he couldn't afford to think. Not now. With sudden resolve, he advanced, the pipe raised defiantly. Step away from her. The man chuckled, taunting. You think bravery will save her? Look around, boy. This forest is alive, and it doesn't help your cause. Jake's heart raced as he glanced around, feeling an unseen presence lurking amid the shadows. Then he saw a flicker of movement, almost like a glimmer of eyes in the darkness, peering from every direction. What the hell? Jake stammered, unease washing over him. Ah, now you see it. The hooded man let out a chilling laugh. You're not the only one tied to this game. You have no idea what you've stumbled into. Just then, the ground trembled beneath him as a low growl reverberated through the trees. Jake's grip on the pipe tightened. The sound shouldn't exist in this part of the woods. It was too primal, too close. "Enough!" Jake shouted, taking another step forward. "Let her go, or I swear I will," but the laughter returned, harsh and mocking. "You should be worried about your own safety. I don't work alone anymore." And then he released her. Time slowed. Jake's heart lurched as Lily darted toward him, wide-eyed with terror. Just as they were about to collide, the hooded man lunged forward, snatching the pipe from Jake's hands, snapping it in two like a dry twig. "Run, Jake!" Lily shrieked, panic etched across her face. But the ground shook again, and suddenly they weren't just in a fight against the man. Something darker was closing in around them, a rising storm of danger that felt all too real. "Jake!" Lily yelled again, her voice piercing through the chaos surrounding them, igniting his instincts to protect her. And then everything changed. From the depths of the darkness, a new figure emerged, tall and eerily calm, head tilted as it stepped into the moonlight, eyes gleaming with an unnatural hue, and a smile that sent chills curling through Jake's spine. "What the hell is that?" he whispered, feeling dread. Pool in his stomach. Jake's resolve started to crumble. Would it get Lily? Or was it too late to even think of saving them both? As the new threat advanced, the realization hit him like a ton of bricks. This was far beyond what he ever braced for. The answer was clear, but he knew one thing. Survival meant action, and he had to decide fast. Would he fight for Lily, or would he run and hope for the best? The woods around them watched as the twilight deepened, holding its breath, waiting to see what would unfold next. Lily stumbled into Jake's arms, momentum propelling them backward. An electric jolt of panic shot through him as the hooded man hissed, "Fools!" The ground shook again, and that growl crescendoed into a snarl, echoing off the trees like a warning. The figure in the moonlight stepped closer, a silhouette wrapped in shadows, its unnatural smile growing wider. "Stay still, or she pays the price," the hooded man warned, his fingers twitching dangerously close to the blade. Jake didn't want to lose this moment with Lily. With barely a breath, he realized he couldn't let her be a pawn any longer. He pushed her behind him, instinctively shielding her, his heart pounding like a war drum. "What do you want?" he challenged, every word weighted with defiance. "Oh, you're asking the wrong questions," the hooded man laughed, his voice layered with menace. "What you should be asking is, how far are you willing to go to save her? We've only just begun, and there's so much more to explore in these woods." He gestured around, as if encompassing the dark. "Like what?" Jake shot back, clutching tightly to whatever courage he had left. His mind raced, trying to piece together his next move, but dread simmered close to the surface, threatening to boil over. The monstrous figure behind the hooded man moved forward, snarling, and Jake's blood ran cold. It was big, matted fur glistening under the fragile moonlight, and eyes that glowed with a malevolent hunger. An animal? No, a beast. An unnatural creature drawn from nightmares. "What is that thing?" Jake whispered, his voice trembling despite his best efforts. He felt Lily's breath catch behind him, her presence a steady reminder of what was at stake. "That," the hooded man sinfully smiled, "is your worst nightmare made flesh. Just like you, it's a game, oh, so many layers of fear to peel back." His laughter rang out, chaotic and taunting. Jake's options seemed to evaporate like the fog rising from the earth. He turned, eyes locking with Lily's, a silent conversation cracking through the air. He saw her fear, but also her strength. She was a fighter, a survivor. "On 3, Jake whispered. "We run." Lily's voice cracked, but he could see the determination pooling in her eyes. "Trust me," he urged, adrenaline coursing through his veins, blending courage with desperation. 1, 2, 3. They bolted forward, their legs moving in sync, urgency propelling them. But that growl erupted anew, filling the clearing with waves of thunder, the creature lunging after them with an inhuman speed. The ground splintered under its weight, earth digging up like it was rebelling against their flight. "Keep going," Jake yelled, driving them deeper into the woods. He could hear the clattering of branches snapping behind them, the vicious snarls echoing in the dark. They couldn't stop. Now fear forged a path through gnarled roots and brambles. Lily darted closely beside him, her shoes barely able to keep up. Jake's heart raced faster, matching the surge in his chest. They were no longer fleeing just one enemy, but the whispers of the earth itself suddenly alive against them. Which way? She gasped, panting as they veered left, the moonlight glancing off the distant tree line. Anywhere but here, he yelled back, glancing over his shoulder. The beast trailed just a heartbeat behind, eyes burning with fury. Just ahead lay a jagged cliff, a treacherous drop into inky blackness. Fear flooded through him again, but they had to make a stand. Jake skidded to a halt, breathing heavily. "We'll have to fight," he said, steeling himself despite the dread of what that really meant. "Are you crazy?" Lily replied, her eyes wide, looking into that abyss as if it were ready to swallow them whole. "Better here than being cornered," he shot back. "Somehow we'll face it together." But just as he spun back, ready to confront the approaching nightmare, the hooded man's voice echoed through the chaos, dripping with dark confidence. "Games are won by the brave, but only the truly reckless survive. Your loss will be the start of something spectacular." Jake's sense of urgency skyrocketed. A plan formed in his mind, crude yet alive. If they could lure it closer, they could turn the game against him. As they caught their breath, the tension hung heavy, and a dreadful realization struck everything was about to change. What had been a simple rescue had spiraled into a lethal dance of survival, with lives hanging in the balance. Would fighting lead to their salvation or their doom? The cliff awaited, and the creature hungered for a chance to pounce. Jake's senses screamed as the shadows of the trees loomed around them, thickening like a suffocating shroud. He and Lily stood shoulder to shoulder, hearts racing in unison. The menacing growl echoed again, warping the comforting sounds of the night into a cruel reminder of their peril. "Jake," Lily said, her voice a tight whisper, "what if we can't fight it? We shouldn't be here." He met her gaze, resolute, trying to mask his uncertainty. "We don't have a choice. It's now or never." With a shared nod, they turned to face the beast. The glimmer of moonlight revealed its monstrous form, muscles rippling under that shaggy coat and teeth bared like daggers. The creature seemed to relish their fear, each step forward sending tremors through the earth. "Keep it focused on us," Jake said, swallowing hard while I looked for a way out. Just as he finished speaking, the hooded man stepped onto the edge of the clearing, arms raised as if orchestrating the chaos. "Oh, how delightful! Such bravery! But know this divine retribution is upon you." His laughter rang hollow against the night. It was a parody of joy, a curse woven into the fabric of their impending doom. As the creature lunged, driven by primal hunger, Jake darted left, dragging Lily with him. The beast snarled, whirling to follow, muscles coiling as it leaped more swiftly than he imagined possible. Jake's pulse thundered in his ears, his instincts kicked into overdrive. "Get to that boulder," he shouted, pointing to a massive rock formation looming nearby. It might offer a moment to regroup, a way to shield against the beast. They sprinted, adrenaline coursing like fire through their veins. The sound of claws raking the ground behind them grew louder, more frantic, its hunger palpable. Lily stumbled, catching herself just in time, and grabbed Jake's arm. "What if it catches us? Then we make a stand," he yelled, the words emerging more forcefully than he felt. The boulder loomed closer. In a split-second decision, Jake charted a course directly towards it, hoping against hope it would be their sanctuary. Just as they reached the boulder, the beast lunged again, jaws snapping down inches from their heels. Jake dove to the side, but Lily didn't hesitate. With a fierce determination, she pushed against the boulder, trying to leverage it to block the creature's advance. "Help me," she cried, panic coloring her voice. Jake rushed to her side, pushing with everything he had. The boulder moved, grinding against the forest floor, but it barely shifted. The creature snarled, frustrated by their plan, its eyes glowing with an unsettling intelligence. "We need to distract it," Jake said, quickly scanning their surroundings. His mind raced, recalling the items in his pockets. What do you mean? Lily looked at him wide-eyed. Hold on. Jake fished out his phone. As the creature pounded its massive paws near them, he hit the button, setting the flashlight ablaze. The bright beam cut through the darkness, piercing straight into the beast's shifting gaze. Over here, you ugly, he yelled, waving the phone like a torch. The creature hesitated, ears twitching as it tracked the light. Now run, Jake shouted, mouth dry as dust, gut churning with desperation. They darted away from the boulder, tearing through the trees. The beast roared in frustration and lunged, chasing them relentlessly. Jake could hear the foliage tearing behind them as they emerged into an open clearing illuminated by moonlight. Find something to use, Jake yelled, scanning the area frantically. But all around lay the remnants of fallen trees, broken branches that offered little protection. Ahead, he spotted an old, rusted metal sign. Without thinking, he sprinted toward it and wrenched it free from the earth, wheeling around as Lily joined him. Do you think we can fight it? She gasped. It's fight or flight, and I'd rather not choose flight, he replied, leveling the sign like a sword. They braced themselves side by side, hearts hammering in their chests. The creature charged, teeth bared, determined to end the game. Jake felt the air leave his lungs. Would this beast end them before they had a chance to turn the tables? Just as it lunged again, something flashed in the corner of his eye. Lily, duck. They both dropped instinctively, and a blur of movement swept past them as something hard struck the creature, sending it staggering. Eyes wide, Jake glanced up to see the hooded man scrambling backward, something glinting in his hands, a silver blade glimmering faintly in the moonlight. Fools! You don't know what you're playing with, he bellowed, fury tinging his voice. The beast regained its footing, shaking its massive head, eyes now settled on the man, confusion mixing with the drive to hunt. What did you do? Jake asked, heart leaping at the unfolding chaos. But as the hooded man grinned, it was evident he wasn't finished yet. Just wait. The real game has yet to begin. With a shriek, the beast lunged toward him, and Jake's pulse raced once again. What new horror awaited them? Surely, they were not the only pieces on this twisted board. The creature barreled forward, its muscles tense and coiled, its ghastly roar sending chills racing down Jake's spine. The hooded man's confident posture crumbled as the beast focused its wrath on him. He stumbled back, his silver blade glinting ominously in the moonlight, yet it seemed powerless against the primal ferocity of the monster he had summoned. Get back, Jake shouted, adrenaline fueling his voice as he instinctively positioned himself between the beast and Lily. The weight of his decision was crushing, but he couldn't let the creature near her. With a growl that resonated through the trees, claws grazed the ground, transforming leaves into a shower of confetti. Jake squeezed the rusted metal sign, feeling its jagged edge press into his palm. What do we do? He whispered to Lily, struggling to maintain his focus amidst the chaos unfolding before them. Distract it, she replied, her voice trembling but her eyes burning with fierce determination. The creature, now torn between its desire to ravage and its confusion over the hooded man, began to swirl in a frenzy. Jake took a deep breath, heart thudding loudly in his chest. Lily, go for that fallen branch over there. It might help. She dashed toward a heavy branch, pulling it free from the ground just as the beast turned back to them, furious eyes blazing with primal rage. Jake followed suit, brandishing the sign like a sword, prepared to engage the creature. The hooded man, recovering somewhat, glanced over his shoulder to see what was unfolding. Unknown, would the hooded man unleash further horrors, or would this be their chance to turn the tide? Jake couldn't shake the feeling that a darker game was just beginning, and they were merely pawns on a treacherous board. The world around them shifted, the familiar trees dissolving into an ethereal gloom. Jake squeezed Lily's hand tighter, feeling the cold sweat seep through his palm. They were suspended in darkness, the air thick with foreboding. A chill swept through the void, as if the night held its breath, waiting for some unseen signal to unfold. "Where are we?" Lily breathed, her voice trembling and echoing against the emptiness of their surroundings. "I don't know," Jake replied, his heart pounding. "But we have to be ready. Whatever happens next, we face it together." Suddenly, the portal began to whirl faster, colors swirling like a chaotic carnival ride. The hooded man stood at its center, arms raised, chanting words that twisted the fabric of reality itself. "You will pay for your insolence. You think you can defy fate? What fate? You think you control all of this?" Jake shouted, his anger flaring like a spark in the dark. "You're just a coward hiding behind shadows." The hooded man's laughter echoed through the void, dripping with malice. "Coward? No, I'm a puppeteer, and you are but threads in my grand tapestry." A flash of light pierced the darkness, and the creature emerged from the swirling portal, eyes blazing with a renewed hunger. Bigger, angrier, it lunged forward, fueled by the dark energy of the hooded man's manipulation. This wasn't just a beast. It had become a manifestation of the very nightmares that stalked their pasts. "Lily," Jake shouted, grounding himself. "We need to work together. Distract it while I find something to fight with." The creature lifted its massive jaws, ready to strike, and Jake felt the weight of the world crashing upon him. "Get behind that rock." He gestured toward a jagged outcrop nearby. With a racing heart, Jake pushed them both toward the outcrop as the creature charged. It struck the ground with such force. Jake felt the vibrations beneath his feet. They ducked behind the safety of the boulder, the sheer size and ferocity of it echoing through his bones. "Jake, what now?" Lily asked, her voice small, filled with fear. "Give me the branch," he said urgently, and she willingly passed it to him. He fashioned a spear-like weapon, tightly gripping it as he peered around the rock's edge. The creature paused, confusion in its eyes, as if uncertain of where to turn. "Hey, ugly," he called, brandishing the makeshift spear. "I'm over here." The beast's focus shifted, and it snarled, bounding in their direction. "Now, Jake," Lily cried, suddenly pulling on his arm, her eyes fierce with determination. They charged out from their hiding spot, hearts racing in unison as the beast lunged. Jake leaned into the motion, thrusting the branch toward the beast's scaly hide. It hit with a sickening thud, and the creature staggered back, agitated. "It's working," he shouted, adrenaline surging through his veins. But it wasn't enough. He could feel the weight of fate looming closer. "Lily, stay close." A surge of confidence glimmered within him. If he could fight this creature together with Lily, maybe they could reclaim not just their lives, but their identities as they faced the monster together. The hooded man's chant intensified. "You can't escape. The darkness will consume you." Lily took a deep breath, stepping closer to Jake. "We want to let it. You first," she shouted, reaching for another branch nearby. "Ready?" he asked, locking eyes with her. The beast reared back, roaring in defiance. "Ready." With a synchronized movement, they lunged, Jake targeting its right leg while Lily focused on its eyes, a concerted effort sparked behind their shared fear. The creature roared in pain, the steel of their resolve coursing through them, igniting the kind of strength they didn't know they possessed. But the hooded man's laugh cut through the chaos, sharp like glass. "No, you cannot win. The darkness bends to me, not if we face it together." Jake shouted emphatically. He began to circle around the creature with Lily, defying the overwhelming fear pulsing behind him. Suddenly, the beast lunged again, this time faster, fueled by the hooded man's rage. In reflex, Jake sprinted forward, using his branch to jab the beast in its temple. The creature staggered, disoriented, and Jake felt a new burst of adrenaline. "Now!" he yelled. He sprang toward the creature's throat, delivering a powerful blow, while Lily aimed for its eye, and in that instant, with a scream of pain, the creature faltered. "Don't stop. Keep going." But just as it appeared to be winding down, Stephen's voice thundered through the darkness. "You think you're free? Purely naive." Jake turned, fury igniting. "We determine our own fate. We'll break your game. The disgust on the hooded man's face twisted into shock as he wailed, but before his eyes could fully catch up, the creature tumbled to the ground, lifeless. The atmosphere began to shift as the darkness peeled away, revealing dim outlines of trees once more. "Lily, we did it!" Jake gasped, his heart racing. But then the hooded man's laughter erupted once more, echoing with a hollow resonance. "You think this is over? The real game has just begun, and I will be waiting in the shadows." The world around them shifted violently again, its grip relinquishing them just long enough for breath to halt. They could smell it fresh, the scent of damp earth giving way to moonlight as shadows withdrew. Jake clutched Lily tighter. "Whatever happens, we face it together." And just like that, they stepped forward, hearts determined to soar into the whirlwind of the unknown. With the hooded man lingering in their memories and their future wide open, they knew one thing: this fight for freedom had forged them. Together, they would face the remnants of their pasts and create their own future. With resolve, Jake whispered, "We will break the cycle. This is just the beginning." As dawn broke through the trees, illuminating the way ahead, they ventured into the light, hope rekindled while the darkness lingered, unwilling to let go entirely. The real story, in all its twists and turns, had only just begun now. Before we wrap up this journey together, it's critical to connect. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next thrilling adventures waiting for you around the corner. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep those stories alive. Your voices matter, so flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what we just witnessed. Let us dive deep together. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support keeps this community growing and thriving together. We can explore new worlds.